Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee and crowned thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their brother love and mercy more than life. America, America, may God thy hearts refine till all success be nobleness and every gain divine, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh.
Welcome to the second annual Mercer County Clerk's Office Black History Month program. I am proud to host this wonderful event to highlight the great contributions of Black Americans to our nation and to our Mercer County region. Today, we will feature some outstanding individuals and organizations who have contributed to our community. Our guests include the head of the Concerned Black Pastors, Reverend Harris, who will tell his compelling personal story. Also, Reverend Darrell Armstrong, pastor of the historic Shiloh Baptist Church in Trenton, who will provide an in-depth presentation of the rich history and leadership of Shiloh Baptist Church. We also will have an interview with the president of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, which will center on the election of her very famous sorority sister, Vice President Kamala Harris. Have some wonderful performances, a poem to be read by an extremely talented young high school student, LaNae Lopez, and musical selections from Trenton's own gifted songstress, Melda. Finally, my staff will share their gifts as Ian Grimley performs a trumpet solo and Deputy Clerk Walker Worthy, who is a former history teacher, shares some of his knowledge and insights. So we have such a great program for you today. I'm very, very thrilled to present it. I want to also note that, Black history is also American history and should be celebrated. African Americans built our country by building homes and buildings, even in our U.S. Capitol. This year, while women celebrated the 100th anniversary of the right to vote, it also marks a huge milestone for Black Americans, as we not only elected a woman to the vice presidency, but the first woman of color to the United States vice presidency. We have great people in Mercer County from African American descent. So it is truly an honor for me to be able to recognize some of them and the outstanding achievements and contributions they have made to our society and community at large. It is better for all of us, and we are better because of them, and they have added to the rich tapestry of Mercer County. Now, I'm excited to present this program to you, and without further ado, I'm going to introduce the Deputy County Clerk, Walker Worthy Jr., who is the Deputy County Clerk in Mercer County for the last 15 years, and the only Deputy County Clerk in New Jersey of color. He is also a graduate of Ewing High School, like me, and he went to Tennessee State University. He's a former teacher and a great administrator, and a friend to many. I now welcome Walker Worthy Jr.
Like the Mercer County Clerk Paula Sollami Covello said, African American history is American history. And thank you all for joining us today as we share with you a small segment of the American story. Black history is celebrated during the month of February. We celebrate all the tremendous contributions that Black Americans made to this great nation. Contributions in the arts, sciences, medicine, all aspects of human endeavor. No one can tell the story of Black history better than the late John Hope Franklin, who is my favorite historian in Black history. If you get a chance to read From Slavery to Freedom, you can learn all about our tremendous history. He takes you from Reconstruction to the Civil Rights. Today, I am honored to introduce a local historian / preacher who has a story to tell of his own. He is the Honorable John Harris from the Galilee Baptist Church right here in Trenton, New Jersey. Reverend Harris will share with us today some stories that he has from his tremendous history. Reverend Harris is also the president of the Concerned Pastors of the Trenton area. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Dr. Reverend John Harris.
Happy to reach out to you this day. Last year, I met with you all and talked about some of my past. I hope and pray that that which I'm sharing with you now blesses your heart as it has made me remember where I've come from. I was one of those young men way back in the late 60s that was among the first to integrate in a church in the South, in a school in the South. And in doing so, there were very few of my race of people. But we were treated semi-fairly, and yet there were those who wanted to do us harm. I played football, I was in the band, I did many activities. I was even in the drama class in junior high school. And then finally I went on to high school. There was yet much racism. There was water fountains at one point we couldn't drink from. And if we rode the bus, we had to ride in the back. And then if we went shopping, my grandmother was not allowed to buy me a suit that I had tried on in the store. She made it her business to do all she could. She'd fit it to my shoulders and then take it home after she had purchased it and resize it for me so it would fit. So I do understand what went on in the late 60s and early 70s. I also know that we are inundated with that same kind of mentality in some of our southern cities now. There is still much hatred. There are a lot of people who claim to be Christians, but only if you're white. And yet they don't think Black people are good for anything but pain, suffering, and sorrow, or to be servants unto them. That makes me want to ask the question, what kind of God are they serving? Or do they really serve God at all? Well, there was a young man when I was a boy. I lettered playing football, and he wanted to wear my jacket. And I granted it to him because I wasn't interested in leaving from the stadium at that moment. I was interested in some girl. Well, anyway, he wore my lettered jacket. He lived in the same direction that I lived in. And on his way home, some men, boys, hateful people, whichever, threw a rope around him and drug him to death. Not because of who he was, but because of who they thought he was. And there are people still who hate us for the color of our skin. But I've come to believe that what really takes place is that people hate themselves so much that they can't help but hate others that they think are causing their suffering, or the reason that they're no better off than they are. And that seems to be the attitude that people, shall I say, place upon those who are suffering to make them think that the reason they're suffering is because of someone else. Maybe our country would be a better country if we were not so divided and yet claimed to be the United States of America. United, yeah, but one group one way and another group another way, but not united as one nation. And what's going to happen is that some other country keeps trying to infiltrate us, such as Russia and or China and other countries who can't stand us. So they keep us fighting so that they can walk in and take over one day. But I'm suggesting that we the people, we need to stop being so mean to one another, unite as the United States of America, and stop being so indifferent. There are blacks who don't like blacks, and whites who don't like whites, and there are Spanish who don't like Spanish. And then there are they who don't like the opposite races. But the question is, how much hate can you allow to eat you up on the inside to the point that you even get where you can't stand yourself? This is a country that was built for all. Well, I'm here with you. I've looked forward to talking with you. I hope and pray that my memories have given you a reason to think. I do know that it's going to make some people angry, and it's going to cause some people to hate me even the more because I dare tell the truth. But I say unto you, America, and unto you, New Jersey, and the surrounding states, we the people can fix our problem, but not if we try to fix it while we hate one another. Can't be a Christian and be mean as we've been. Cannot be a child of God and a servant of Satan. You pick one, and then you walk with that one openly. Because if you're not going to be a Christian, stop claiming it. And if you are a hater, open up and say you are. Stop hiding behind the word Christian. Well, I guess I've said enough. More than likely, I've angered many and possibly made some consider their walk of life. But this world was not just made for some. This world was made for all by one God and one faith. Maybe I've said something to cause you to have a change of heart for the better. God bless you and God keep you is my prayer.
Thank you so much, Reverend Harris, for those amazing words. You never fail to inspire us. And now we're going to go forward and have two performances by two very talented individuals. First, Ian Grimley is going to perform a trumpet solo, the Battle Hymn of the Republic, for all of us. And then next, we will hear a poetry reading from Lawrence High School senior LaNae Lopez. I know that it's going to be beautiful. It's a poem that we all are familiar with, Still I Rise by Maya Angelou.
Oh,
You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room? Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awfully hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide, leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Breaking the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of a slave. I rise, I rise, I rise.
Thank you so much to Ian and LaNae for those excellent performances. Next is a speaker that is no stranger to Mercer County. He is the leader of Shiloh Baptist Church of Trenton. It is a church that is rich with history and has produced some of the greatest leaders that we have known in Mercer County. I am now very pleased to introduce to you Reverend Darrell Armstrong.
Greetings, my name is Darrell Armstrong, the pastor of the Shiloh Baptist Church here in the city of Trenton, New Jersey. I am absolutely ecstatic, excited, and elated to be a part of County Clerk Paula Sollami Covello's annual Black History Month event. I'm honored that she would even include me, let alone allow me to share in one of the keynote addresses during this annual event. So kudos to you, County Clerk Sollami Covello, and to your Deputy Clerk Walker Worthy, faithful member of the Shiloh Church, and to all of you viewing, listening, and hearing this awesome program. Black History Month is a time when we celebrate the accomplishments of people of African descent, Black Americans. And that really is my theme for my presentation today. I want to borrow what we in America call e pluribus unum. The Latin phrase, out of many, come one. And this notion of e pluribus unum, out of many, plurality comes unum, one. One people, one mindset, not homogenized, but unified. Very different. We don't want to homogenize and water down. We want to celebrate the distinctions and distinctiveness of all of these amazing immigrants. And that really is another thing that I want to share, right? In the United States of America, and really the Americas, North America, South America, Central America, nation of immigrants. Nation of immigrants. And that theme of forced migration, invited migration, is something that is inherently a part, really, of Black History Month. Not only the forced migration of enslaved Africans caught in the bonds of chattel slavery, sold, in some cases, even by people who look like them, in the interior and coastal regions of what is now West Africa, all inspired by Western Eurocentric racism and superiority complex that believed Blacks were inferior. So they actually collaborated with some Black tribes to sell other Black tribes into slavery, but all under the umbrella of a white racist supremacy mindset. And so that notion of free slavery, capture on the west coast of Africa. I've traveled to Ghana and the slave castles along the Gold Coast, and I've seen the door of no return. I've stood in the slave castles where thousands of enslaved Africans awaited their fate on a 6-month journey across the ocean, where millions of our ancestors died literally aboard the ships. Some tossed over and becoming bait and food for predators in the ocean. And if they survived that middle passage, came over to the United States of America or to the islands of the Caribbean, forced into labor, forced into slavery, and really becomes the industrial engine that drives America's rise to world dominance in the economic realm. Forced migration. Within a century, you had millions more from Central Europe, Southern Europe, filling factories, and also driving this American industrial revolution. And so many of them came by way of invited migration through Ellis Island and through other points of entry into these United States. And so it sets up this spectrum of migration, forced migration, slavery, and invited migration to seek a better life. And even today, the question of immigration, Spanish-speaking brothers and sisters, and African-speaking brothers and sisters, and even Asian-descended brothers and sisters coming to America, wanting to seek a better life. E pluribus unum, out of many come one. And yet the legacy of slavery leaves a stain like no other. And so in Black History Month, Dr. Carter G. Godwin Woodson, the founder of Black History Month, reminds us that those who have been oppressed must write their own history. They must stake their own claim, because often history is written by the winner, by the oppressor. And so the oppressed read stories about themselves written by the oppressor. And Dr. Carter Godwin Woodson said, no, you need to write your own story, write your own narratives, and tell your own story. And so hence what was Negro History Week has now become Black History Month. And I pray that we don't limit it even to a month, because Black history is indelibly linked with American history. Here's where I want to jump into the uniqueness of even the Great Migration. Once we were freed, my ancestors were freed from slavery, Reconstruction, post-Reconstruction, that then led into other systems of oppression, but still technically free. And so what was the greatest demographic shift of a people in American history, even greater than the Trail of Tears of our indigenous brothers and sisters forced off their homelands, the Great Migration of Blacks moving from south to points north and west, is a story told by Isabella Wilkerson in her great book, The Warmth of Other Suns. And so those on the coastal region in the south, from the Carolinas, North, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, they went north, and they came and populated northern cities like Philadelphia and New York and Rochester, and even up to Boston. And those in the mid-south states, Louisiana or Mississippi, Alabama, they went north central and populated cities like St. Louis, Chicago, Kansas City, even as far north as Green Bay in Kenosha, Wisconsin, Milwaukee. And then my ancestors from Louisiana and Texas, they went west, and they populated areas like Los Angeles and Oakland, and even north to Portland and Seattle. The Great Migration So blacks who came south to Trenton, many of them wanted to worship in a way that was true to who they were down south. So they founded churches and houses of worship up north. And the first colored Baptist church of Trenton, i.e. the predecessor of the Shiloh Baptist Church, was founded in 1880. Shiloh is now known as Trenton's oldest black Baptist church. Only older are African Methodist Episcopal churches in the city of Trenton, the AME movement, but Shiloh Baptist Church is Trenton's oldest black Baptist church. And between 1880 and 1897, there were 13 pastors. And from 1904 to present, there have only been 3. And so I just wanted to say a little bit more about the last 117 years from 1904 to 2021. The late Reverend Dr. John White, pastor Shiloh from 1904 to 1946, 42 years. He was the first and founding president of the Trenton NAACP branch. He was appointed by the then governor, this is the early teens, to represent his race and his region at a convention that looked at slavery 50 years from its end. He handed the baton to the late Reverend Dr. Samuel Howard Woodson Jr., who pastored Shiloh from 1946 to 1999, 53 years. And like his predecessor, Reverend Dr. Woodson was appointed by governors of his day to serve in state positions. He integrated politics in Mercer County, the first to serve on Trenton City Council, the first black speaker of the New Jersey State Legislature, acting governor for a time when the governor was traveling outside of the state, and the founding and first commissioner of the Department of Civil Service, the Reverend Dr. Samuel Howard Woodson, under whom I served for 2 years before the Shiloh Church called me to pastor them in the year 2000. And I am honored that, like my predecessors, I too was appointed by governors of my time to serve in state capacities. Former Governor Jim McGreevey asked if I would serve on a statewide children's cabinet that looked at issues of child welfare and family well-being in our great state, based on my own personal experiences in child welfare and foster care. So I simply make the argument that no matter where you start in life, it doesn't have to be where you finish. Forced migration, slavery, our ancestors finished by going to Harvard and going to Howard and going to Hampton and going to Lincoln and Cheney, and proving that even though you consider us inferior, we will be just as educated, just as successful. Because it's not about what's on the outside that matters. It's about what's on the inside. No matter where you start, it's about where we finish. E pluribus unum. Out of many, let's build a united States of America. Paula, County Clerk, Deputy Clerk, so honored to be a part of your annual Black History Month program. Let's go better. Let's do better. Let's build back better. In the name of the one I call Jesus, my Christ. God bless you all. Happy Black History Month.
Thank you so much, Reverend Armstrong, for those amazing words. We are so pleased to have you as a part of our community, and I knew that you wouldn't disappoint us with that interesting presentation. I would like to now introduce my next guest, and this is going to be an interview with a very special person. She is the president of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, Epsilon Upsilon Omega chapter in the Trenton area, and her name is Adrienne King. They have 77 members in this chapter, but this is a national sorority. And one of the most famous members is our new Vice President, Kamala Harris. Thank you for joining us today, and welcome to you, Adrienne.
Thank you so much, Paula, for having me. And it is a pleasure to see you once again. Happy Black History Month.
Happy Black History Month. What a great month for celebration and to recognize so many people that have done so much for our community and for our country. Not only is Vice President Harris a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, the oldest Black sorority, she also joined the Alpha chapter. What does that mean to you and your chapter of the sorority?
Well, I have to say that is truly amazing because, as you may know or may not know, where she became a member of our sorority is where our sorority was founded, Howard University.
That is really special. How does your sorority feel about this, the membership?
Well, we were very excited, and we can see by the numbers that are coming in this year for so many of our members that are reactivating and now becoming a part of various chapters because of this history of our sorority sister becoming the vice president of these United States of America.
That is so exciting. Do you think that she will attend your national conventions or your regional meetings?
Well, Paula, I have to say, I think she will. She actually joined us for our Founders Day celebration this year. And because of COVID, I know so many people look at COVID as a negative. For us, it's a positive because now that we are meeting virtually, it gives her the opportunity to be able to join in on the virtual platform to attend these events. So I'm looking forward and think that if her schedule permits, that she will be joining us this year for our regional conferences.
That is so true. I mean, I feel like we have been able to attend a lot more things with the virtual format in a lot of ways. So, as bad as it is not to see people, it's giving us more opportunities. I wanted to also ask you, what year was your sorority founded, and who are some of the other local leaders of Alpha Kappa Alpha?
Well, it was founded in 1908 at Howard University, as we indicated. And on the local level, we have the privilege of having many of our esteemed politicians serving alongside with you. And they are none other than our Senator, Shirley Turner. We also have our Honorable Congresswoman, Bonnie Watson Coleman, who is also my line sister. So she's truly dear to my heart. And we also have in the local area, not just as politicians, but a local judge, who is Geraldine Uri, who serves at the municipal court here in the city of Trenton.
That is really impressive. And I think also on the state level, isn't the Secretary of State a sister as well?
Yes, she is. She actually joined us this year for our virtual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. scholarship breakfast. So that was a pleasure as well. And that's none other than Taisha Way.
Yeah, she's a really wonderful person too. I've had the pleasure of working with her on elections, and she's the director of the State Division of Elections as Secretary of State. Everybody that you've mentioned is really a wonderful, impressive woman. So I credit you all for that. Everyone is so accomplished, and I'm proud to know you all, including yourself in that. So
thank you.
You're welcome. I also wanted to ask you, and you mentioned this, but some of the involvement in our community. Can you describe some of the things that you've done for the community in terms of, scholarships and other activities, and how do you keep members engaged in this?
Well, I can tell you, before taking the helm as the president, I've served in the last 4 years of the capacity as our program chairman, and I pride myself in community service. Born and raised in the city of Trenton, and from parents that taught us that it was very important to give back and be of service in our community. So it started way before the sorority, but it also has allowed me in the sorority to continue to do what I love to do, and that is being of service to all mankind. So I think from a sorority perspective, it has allowed for us to do just that, from feeding the less fortunate to adopting schools like the Village Charter School. And each year we adopt one of the Trenton public schools to provide a breakfast with Santa activity. Village Charter School, we kind of follow throughout the year for their various, and then just being connected to the community by being on the largest Martin Luther King scholarship breakfast which is an attendance of over 600 people. And because of those that come out to support that event, we're able to provide scholarships to deserving students throughout Mercer County and the surrounding areas.
Thank you so much, Adrienne, for those insights and the information that you gave us about Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority. It is such an outstanding organization, and we are lucky to have it here in Mercer County. Now I'm going to finally introduce to you Melda Grant. Melda is a singer. She is not someone who shies away from the camera. She's at many events, and she shares her beautiful gift of song. So now we're going to present to you Melda Grant.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our Father sighed. We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading a path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out from a gloomy past till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, God who has brought us thus far on our way, God who has by thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in thy path, we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, oh God, where we met thee. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadow beneath thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land.
concludes our Black History Month program for the County Clerk's Office for February of 2021. I thank all of you for tuning in. I thank our outstanding guests. I thank the amazing staff that I have here at the Clerk's Office that helped put this together. And I want to acknowledge our excellent county officials, Brian Hughes and the county commissioners who support us as we put on this program. Now, as we go forward, I just want you to remember and be thankful for all of the richness and diversity we have in this county. It makes us a great county. And in closing, please remember to share this video, to post this video. It's something that we want everyone to be able to see and to appreciate. So we appreciate it if you can put it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and just share it and tag. We appreciate you very much. Thank you so much.